मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है कि लाइफस्टाइल तो हम आपकी बात मान गए एज ए प्रिवेंटिव स्ट्रेटेजी। अगर किसी को कैरोटिड आर्टरी डिजीज हो जाए और उसका ब्लॉकेज जो है नाड़ी में 50% तक होगा, हम लाइफस्टाइल से ठीक करेंगे। 50 से 70% हो गया तो कुछ दवाइयां देंगे। आपने बताया कि ब्लड थिनर देते हैं, जैसे इकोस्प्रिन देते हैं या क्लोपिडोग्राल देते हैं या स्टैटिन देते हैं, आपने बताया। लेकिन अगर 70% ज्यादा हो, 99% तक हो, तो उसका इलाज कैसे करेंगे आप? क्योंकि स्ट्रोक बचाना है, लकवा बचाना है, पैरालिसिस को बचाना है। तो आप थोड़ा बताएं, क्योंकि आपका तो फील्ड है वो, उसमें तो आप इतना मैक्सिमम काम करते हैं, डॉक्टर खन्ना सर।
What if the patient comes with acute stroke or TIA? That means the patient has a sudden blindness or slurring of speech or weakness in one half of the body or one limb. Now this patient most likely is having a stroke or an impending stroke. If such a patient comes, the first thing you have to take the patient in the emergency, assess the problem, do a Doppler and a CT, know where is the problem, and if you find a block in the carotid artery, what you do is you put these patients, if there is a clot there in the brain and the carotid arteries, you treat them with a thrombolytic drug or fibrinolytic drug, or in general words, you can say it's a clot buster drug. It's the same drug which we used for heart attack or lung attack or leg attack, where what it does, it dissolves the clot immediately. Now, the important thing in the brain attacks or strokes are that if you get the patient to the hospital in the first half hour, and you intervene immediately, either by dissolving the clot or by taking out the clot by doing an angioplasty or a thrombectomy in the cath lab, you can save 90% of these patients. Beyond 2 hours, the brain becomes unsalvageable, and the chances of recovery by doing any interventions are almost zero. So you have to intervene within the first hour. That is the most important thing. If not, then at least within the first 2 hours. So that is very important. So if you have these symptoms, immediately go to the right doctor and the right hospital. Immediately get treated either by a lytic drug, clot dissolving drug, or by an angioplasty or thrombectomy. You have a 90% chance you will survive and become functional and normal. The second thing is, let's come down to the other thing known as carotid angioplasty. Like once you are recovering from the stroke, or you just had a minor thing and you got a drug and you improved, the second thing is, if you have a block here, you actually have to prevent future events like this. This time you could be lucky, next time you may not be lucky, and you may end up with a paralysis, and you are in coma and you can't go to the toilet. You're dependent on somebody. You have no control over your passing stools and urine, and that is the worst life. It's even worse than living. So if you want to prevent that, what you need to do, if you have a block here, you need to open this block and cover these blocks from where these cholesterol and blood clots are going. And this procedure is known as carotid angioplasty. And this is what we do very routinely. We have been doing it for now 25 years. What is done is you just put in a stent, and what it does, it will expand that lumen and prevent anything from protruding and going to the brain. And while you are doing it, you protect the brain by putting in a filter, because these things should not just, while you're doing a procedure, should not go to the brain and cause the stroke while you're doing it. And that is the reason. It's like, you have a falling plaster and you tack it up. So this is how it's done. The carotid angioplasty is similar to the angioplasties we do in the heart, but it is done in a little different way. And this is how it should be done. If you come to the second thing, if you have symptoms and if you come with acute leg attacks, now what do? Acute leg attack is going to present like a patient suddenly has severe leg pain, the leg becomes cold, and or it becomes very red sometimes, and the patient, if you see it's the bluish leg, it becomes cold, you don't have any sensation, the patient cannot move the leg. This is known as acute leg ischemia or critical leg ischemia. And these patients, again, it's an emergency. Not only that you have to save the leg, but these patients, if you don't save the leg, you will actually kill these patients, because all this septic material is going to go to the kidneys and the brain and the heart, and it will lead to their arrest. So it is very important that you immediately go to the doctor. The problem again is because of the choking of blood supply in the leg, and what the doctor does is to do immediate investigations of like imaging investigations, which could be a Doppler or a CT. And then depending on that, if there is a clot, either it is removed without surgery, sometimes with surgery, but mostly with an angioplasty-like technique where we suck out the clot, or we put a catheter and dissolve the clot so that the blood supply is maintained. And if sometimes it is so bad and so late that you can't do anything, then to save the patient's life, you have to amputate the leg. This is also a very important message. People, I've seen physicians and many people would carry on with a dead leg and then lose the patient because everything gets into an entire body circulation, and the patient dies of a sudden heart attack or a kidney failure or a brain failure. So then the doctor will take the decision, but the most important thing is leg problems. Don't take it lightly. It could also be equally bad and sinister like a stroke or a heart attack. And if it comes to the venous side, a patient presents with suddenly a swelling of the leg, especially the calf or one leg. And if such a patient, if he has a history of prolonged bed rest or a long travel, or if the lady was taking oral contraceptive pills, or suppose there was an injury or a recent surgery in the hip or a knee, these are the subsets where if you have a leg swelling with pain, think of a deep vein thrombosis, which is a clotting in the main vein of the leg. And what happens here is this clotting has to be treated, otherwise you can have two problems. One, that the clot can go to the lungs and the patient can have pulmonary embolism, the choking of the arteries of the lung, and this can lead to a sudden death. So very important, don't just think it's a leg thing and let me forget about it, or we'll go to the doctors later on. Patient can die, and this is a sudden death. And it is very easily treated again by the same clot busting medicine. Or even if it goes to the lung, we can actually, in time, if there is time, we can pull out that clot or dissolve that clot inside the lung arteries and maintain the circulation and save the patient. We've got the largest series in the world on this sort of procedures. But the second thing is, suppose it doesn't go to the lung and you give some anticoagulants and it is restricted to the leg. What will happen is the valves of the leg veins will get destroyed. And for your life, what is going to happen is the leg would be swollen and the leg would be painful, and it will become like, if you have seen many legs which are painful, they become brownish black with a very thick skin, and they are always troubling the patient. So this is known as post-thrombotic syndrome because of the poor functions of the valve, and this leads to a lot of pressure in the leg veins. So to prevent this, one has to immediately go to the doctor and treat it as an emergency. Then you can prevent a death of the patient, as well as you can prevent this sort of lifelong complication of post-thrombotic syndrome in the leg. So these are very important treatments which are emergency treatments. And of course, in terms of long-term treatments, I've already told you they are same. You have to control risk factors, which I have described. There could be modifiable risk factors which have to be controlled, and there are non-modifiable risk factors where you need to take drugs, appropriate drugs on the advice of doctors.
Dr. Khanna, since we are launching this mission, my request to you is that under the banner of Asia Pacific Vascular Society, you must launch the carotid clinics, vein clinic, and peripheral arterial clinic. It may enhance the awareness in the masses, and they will be concerned about this. And second thing, which I really wish that you must do it for the public, is you must create some special apps, carotid care app, peripheral arterial care app, and peripheral venous care app under the banner of your Asia Pacific Society, Vascular Society. The reason is, I really want it should go all over the Asia and the world. And I'm sure, I heard you many times, you saw so much of data, which is of immense use. What do you think, your message on this important issue, Dr. Khanna sir?
What is very important is, for a patient, I've told you how to diagnose this disease, how to be aware. But if we really want to make a change in the country and in our, overall healthcare system, what we need to do is, look for the entire population of Southeast Asia and India and create this awareness among the kids, among the healthcare providers, among the public at large, and potential patients. And for that, what we are going to do is we are training a lot of doctors through Asia Pacific Vascular Society. We are training a lot of public in general by putting out booklets and creating an app which actually can about vascular health and carotid artery disease and symptoms, which can actually educate people, make them aware, and also make them, the app can also tell them what is their risk. Like you have this Aarogrishi app where you know what is your risk for COVID. Arogya Setu app where you know what is the risk of COVID. This app will tell you what is your risk for carotid artery disease or having a stroke, what is your risk of having a peripheral arterial disease, losing your leg or a kidney or a deep vein thrombosis or pulmonary embolism. And it also tells you what to do in case you have an issue, where exactly you should go and what to do. So, and this is good for not only public in general, but also for healthcare providers and even for, super specialists, where, the most recent information is updated on a weekly basis, where you actually would be able to update yourself. What is the latest trend in the world? What are the latest medicines which are available? What are the latest treatment modalities which are available? And we have actually, we also do a, conference, which is the biggest in Southeast Asia, which is the Asia Pacific Vascular Interventional Course. We just did it a few days back. We had more than 10,000 people and 27 hours of didactic lectures and attended by Nobel laureates and 52 international experts. Again, talking about vascular health, latest advancement in vascular treatment, both for public as well as general physicians and specialists. So once everything is integrated in this knowledge dissemination by apps, by booklets, by talks, radio shows, and shows like yours, this is going to actually make the difference in the country. And that is what is our aim. We want to make an impact in the healthcare system through this and through your help, because we can train few doctors and few people, but the reach of media, the reach of app, the reach of social media and electronic media like yours is tremendous. And only that can change the healthcare system and also the health of the nation as well as Southeast Asia. So that's why these are very important.